Hi guys, sorry that it has taken me so long to make an update video, but I just haven't felt like it. I haven't been feeling well, and I just haven't been in the mood to talk about it. And finally, I just want to go ahead, get this out, and let you guys know what is going on. So basically, I have been having these symptoms since mid-November. Today is March 14th, okay? The symptoms that I'm going to describe started off very mild, and it wasn't every single day. It was almost every single day. And then over time, it's just gotten worse, and then more and more frequent every single day. So the very first symptom that I noticed was a lot of excessive gas. Not bloating, no heartburn, just gas. Which is very unusual for me. I never have gas, like never. Nothing that I eat, no, it's something that just never ever happens to me. Even after surgery, when people had so much horrible gas, I only had bad gas for maybe one day or something after surgery, and that was it. So anyway, it's very unusual for me to ever have gas, and then even more unusual for it to be so severe that it was waking me up in the morning. That was my first inkling that something was going on. And so then that continued for days, and I was just like, my diet hadn't changed, nothing had changed. Then that progressed to lots of stomach cramping, terrible cramping, and feeling like I had constipation. But I wasn't constipated, so this is the other thing. So normally I have a bowel movement every 2 to 3 days. That's pretty normal for me after surgery. And sometimes I would get constipated, but it'd be pretty rare, like maybe once every few months. Now I was feeling constipated every day, but I was having a bowel movement every single day. That's weird. So first of all, yeah, having a bowel movement every day, but then constantly feeling like I was constipated, as if I needed to go, but I didn't need to go because I just went. So these were my first symptoms. So at first I'm like, well, maybe I need to change my probiotic. I changed my probiotic. Maybe I need more fiber. I started eating more vegetables, getting more fiber. Looked up all these things on the internet, do some more exercise. So it's like I'm in lots of step beds. So I'm getting, walking around. Plus with the way that my stomach was hurting, man, I didn't want to be doing anything else more physical than that. It was hard enough for me to just to get my walks in. I tried some laxatives. I thought, well, maybe I just think that I'm not constipated. Maybe I'm not fully emptying my bowel. So a couple of times I did do laxatives that really cleaned myself out to the point that there was nothing coming out but diarrhea and water. I know this is gross, but I just need to get the point across. But yet I still felt like there's something in there that still felt like I was constipated. So those symptoms started developing over time. And so like by the time after Thanksgiving, I started having these symptoms every single day, day in and day out. Some days worse than other days. Not all the symptoms were there every single day. The only thing that I had every single day was terrible gas at night. And then I would wake up in the morning with terrible stomach cramping. Now the pain is worse in the morning. It tends to be worse in the morning, not always, and it's worse on an empty stomach. So the funny thing is that I could wake up in terrible cramping pain, have my bowel movement, which I've been having every single day, still in pain, and then when I drink my coffee with a little bit of cream, I start to feel a little bit better. So then I was like, okay, well, this can't be dairy since I'm feeling a little bit better. Sometimes I wouldn't feel better. Sometimes I didn't feel better until I actually ate some real food. Because when I was hungry was when the cramping even felt the worst. I mean, it was terrible. So I would try to do anything to make sure that I wasn't hungry, because then that's when I would be doubling over in pain. I tried paying attention to see if there was any difference after I ate certain foods. Did my pain get better or worse? Mostly no matter what I ate, it would get better. Sometimes after I drank my coffee and cream, there was no difference, but then after I ate my breakfast, I would feel better. It never went away, but I would feel better. So, this wasn't fitting anything. But, I wanted to get through Christmas and then I wanted to get through New Year's, and I just still kept thinking that this was just eventually going to go away. But then, like I said, the symptoms kept progressing. It's like then I was having pain that was like right under my breasts and then around my chest and then on my right side, like really a lot on my right side. And I one night felt like I felt tenderness on my right side, lower right sided tenderness, and sometimes upper right side tenderness. And then lower back pain. Sometimes my back would be hurting on the right side, but then sometimes on the left side. And so then I just was like, maybe this is one of my organs. Like, I was starting to freak out, not knowing what in the world this was. And finally, once the holidays were over, I went to my doctor in January. He immediately took it very seriously because I never go to the doctor. I'm never sick. If I am sick, it's always just a very, very mild cold, which I don't go to the doctor for. And then I never go to the doctor for anything else. So he took it very seriously. He palpated my liver. He's like, your liver feels normal. Because I was a little afraid about that, because the only other thing that actually helped the pain was alcohol, which is very unusual because most people that have any type of IBS type symptoms or ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, alcohol makes it worse because alcohol is a gut irritant. I don't have any of those things as far as I know so far, but I do know that alcohol would make me feel better. And so there were days that I could barely even move, that it would hurt for me to just walk. The only thing that would help me get through the days sometimes was to drink alcohol. So needless to say, over the months before my doctor's appointment, I had been drinking a whole lot more alcohol than I had been drinking before. And so I was like, wow, is it my liver? But, he palpated my liver, said everything was okay. Then we did all my lab tests. So even though it was already time for my yearly blood work, so I had all my blood work done, all my vitamins done. My cholesterol is fantastic. My HDL is like 900 and something. I cannot believe that. Every single thing, thyroid, everything came back absolutely normal. Liver values, kidney values, everything normal. He then did stool samples. Those came out clear to check for parasites. Urine samples, I don't know what he was checking for there, but he did all types of samples. Everything came out clear. He did do a gluten sensitivity test, and that actually did come out positive. Now, what I've realized is that a lot of people will actually test positive to gluten. And in order to make sure that there's not a real issue going on or celiac disease, you need to have additional tests. And so the doctor did do those additional tests after I tested positive for gluten sensitivity, and that came out negative, normal, whatever. I don't have celiac disease. But it was like, okay, maybe this is gluten. Even though, like I said, I hadn't noticed any difference between whether I ate a piece of bread or whether I ate some eggs, there is no difference in my symptoms. And as a matter of fact, like I said, my symptoms would sometimes get a little bit better, but they were always there. So I did go off of gluten for 3.5 weeks. It was just 3.5 weeks because then I had some company. I didn't notice any difference at all, not even the slightest difference. And then when I added the gluten back when my company was here, absolutely no change whatsoever. I also went off dairy for a week just to see if I would see any difference. Never saw any difference whatsoever. So anyway, so in the meantime, my doctor ordered an ultrasound just to make sure this is not my gallbladder. But in the meantime, the ultrasound can also look at other things. So there are no kidney stones, no gallstones, my liver is a normal size, my spleen is normal size. Everything is exactly as it should be. So then next, some of these signs could be some of my symptoms could be a sign of ovarian cancer or colon cancer. So actually for my ultrasound, I did have a vaginal ultrasound also, which was not pleasant. But they were unable to see my ovaries during that. So ovarian cancer has not been ruled out. But I then went to a GI specialist and had a colonoscopy. So I've already been there 3 times. I had a colonoscopy. The colonoscopy was absolutely clear. He did do a biopsy of my colon in several areas just to make sure that I don't have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease that has also come back clear. So my pain still continued to get worse and worse every day. I mean, and it was always different, like different areas of my stomach. I mean, because have you heard of referred pain? Like you could have pain that's actually coming from one part of your body, but then you feel the pain in another part of your body. So I don't know. I don't know if that was some of this. I don't know. So finally the doctor was like, okay, we need to do a CT scan. So I actually just had the CT scan a couple days ago. I don't know the results of that yet. And the CT scan, they will actually be able to also see my ovaries to make sure that there is nothing going on there. And speaking of ovaries, sometimes my cramping feels like the cramps you have when you have a period, which I don't have. I've had a partial hysterectomy, so I have my ovaries, but I don't have my uterus. There's no reason. I had a hysterectomy 15 years ago. I've never had any menstrual cramps because they come from your uterus. And some days I feel like I'm having menstrual cramps too. It's like the cramping is crazy. So in the meantime, the GI doctor suggested that, well, maybe if I try the low food map diet, FODMAP, whatever, that maybe I would have some relief. Because if this is IBS, which IBS is a disease of exclusion, which means they need to check everything else out to make sure that your symptoms aren't being caused by something else before they can say that the symptoms are being caused by IBS. So this diet, the low food map diet, the doctor said maybe I should try that and see what happens. So when I looked at this sheet, it's like all these pages of, look it up. It's stuff that I eat every day, like onions and garlic and cauliflower and certain nuts. I don't even remember all the things that are on this list. And then those are things that are high, and then moderate things are things I also eat all the time, like avocado and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cabbage and peas and celery and sweet potato. Anyway, the point is, I looked at that list and I was like, I don't even know how to begin to plan to eliminate all of that stuff. And then besides all of that, in my research, I started to see that, there are other things in plants that people can have problems with, like oxalates, which can cause more than just kidney stones. So like oxalates and lectins and anti-nutrients and like all these different things that I've never heard about or thought about that could be in different spices and nuts and once again different plants. And I was like, I think the easiest thing for me to do is going to be carnivore. I know that's all the rage right now, but the only reason that I'm doing carnivore is as an elimination diet, because it's just going to be easiest and more effective, I think, to eliminate everything and see if I get better. And if I get better, then slowly add things back in and figure out what it is that has been causing all of my issues. And so that's what I decided to do. So starting on March 1st, I started the carnivore diet, and I also eliminated dairy because, I need to eliminate it for a longer period of time. So I'm just eating meat and seafood, salt and water, and that's it, to try to see what's going on. Now, a few days into the carnivore diet, I did have an incident where I did eat some crackers that were not gluten-free, So I had some gluten, I had some cheese and crackers, I had some wine, and then I was back on track. But then I realized that I had a CT scan coming up. And when I looked at the things that were in that CT scan, I realized that it was going to be so full of things like sorbitol and mannitol and saccharin and carrageenan that it was going to like negate the results of me going on the carnivore diet. So then I kind of went off of the carnivore diet again and had some alcohol and some dairy. So my point is that I've only just restarted the carnivore diet a few days ago. I posted everything that I ate during that first week. I did post on Instagram, and I made a video, but I'm unable to upload my videos right now from my camera. So I'm doing this on my cell phone. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get around to being able to show you the videos that I made and the food hauls that I made. But basically right now I have restarted carnivore, and I'm just hoping that this is going to help. So like I said, I'm still waiting to see what my CT scan says. So that is what has been going on. I mean, so far with the carnivore, I have noticed increased energy. I mean, even the fact that I even feel like doing this has helped a lot. It's increased my energy, it's increased my mood. I think my pain might be slightly better, but it's too soon to tell. So anyway, that is it, guys. That is what has been going on with me. I will update you again later as soon as I get some more answers. Bye.